There we go. Welcome to
Oh,
Unfiltered with
that's so
Reyes and Victor. And for this episode, we're gonna be talking about like the last and three prompt questions, talking about how we deal with tough moments. Living with a disability is not easy, so I'm gonna get started. First, I want to mention something I did not mention on Victor's podcast. I was recently interviewed on the news, the Spanish news, because I'm still working on getting the English news. It's still not out for my Hispanic bilingual people out there. Univision 21 here in Fresno interviewed me recently, and they're working on it. It's still not on live TV yet. They're working on
dude, that is sick.
it. I did it when you were gone because they said they were all on break, so they just sent somebody to interview me. So they were
Dude,
like,
that's so was that the day I reached out to you? I reached out to you like a few days ago, and you're like, "Oh, sorry, can't. I got a meeting or something like that."
oh,
Were you doing that?
no, I did it in the morning around
Or you did in the morning?
11.
I got you. Dude, that is really, really cool. Can you like do you want to can you give like any spoilers like what's going to be within the episode?
Well, I just talked about my life story then with a disability, what I do, how I got started, and just that, like basically my life story. And with a few questions talking about what it is, muscular dystrophy, and this and that.
Dude, that is really, really cool. That's
And
huge.
I will post something on my Instagram so you guys can, well, I'll probably record something here and I'll just
Yeah.
post it.
Dude, maybe like we can do like a live reaction kind of style.
Yeah, they
That'd be
haven't
cool.
told, yeah, I'm down with it, but they haven't told me because everybody was on break. So the person who interviewed me, he talked English and Spanish. So he's like, right now, he's been doing it for 25 years,
Yeah.
but he's like, I'm always behind camera. I never really, talk with they only have me as cameraman.
Right.
But I do both sometimes 'cause everybody was like, no, everybody's on vacation right now. They were like, all the reporters were, one was in Bakerfield, like he's doing something there. And then
Wow.
then everybody else is like vacation, vacation, And then he was like, I'll give you their Instagram pages who might do the whole, section of the interview, who's gonna, yeah, because they asked for pictures. They
Mhm.
took picture of the wheelchair. They did a lot of, so they took like around an hour or 2 hours.
Wait, was this like an in-person thing?
Yeah,
Oh, it's in per when you said took pictures of the wheelchair, that's what like it picked up I picked up on it. Like, wait, it was actually an in-person interview.
yeah, the person came, he set up the camera. No, they didn't bring the news van. They're like, no, because everybody's mostly on vacation.
Yeah.
And my aunt used to clean their offices, so I'm like, I asked, is so and so still reporting? He's like, no, no, we have new staff. Some of them moved. There were like one that was there for several years. Like now he's in Sacramento. We have new people, but most of them are from out of town. They don't really know anything Central Valley. He's like, I'm from here.
Yeah. Dude, that is really, really cool. Like, what was that moment like? Because you actually even just did a feature for Fresno State, which is pretty, pretty cool. I seen the video and
Mhm.
that was really, really cool with that feature. So like, how does it feel to now do like a second one fairly recently
No,
back to back as well?
Oh, it feels great, because I've been trying with the English station, but I'm like, no. Since I'm like, I talk two languages, I'm like, I might go on to the other one. And I asked them, like, what advice, do you give me, like, if I want to go to, so they check our stories, especially that you mentioned you're bilingual, that you speak two languages. So
Yeah.
he's like, maybe they will see. No, because sometimes we do like collaboration with both news station ABC 30. Because I was
Mhm.
like, wait, they follow you guys. He's like, yeah, we try to follow each other, work together, even if it's different language. But there's a lot of people that like they're like you speak two languages. So if one of them sees that story, they'll be like, wait, we like this story. Then he speaks both languages. Let's have him on.
Right. Best of
So he
both
was like,
worlds.
yeah, so I'm like, they were like, maybe if they see, sometimes we have done that. He's like, we see their story, we're like, wait, we need to bring that person here too. Even though
Yeah.
we bring a translator, but that's not the point. They were like, now we want him here too.
Dude, that is like really, really, really cool. Do you have like an idea more or less of when it's going to be released, or you don't know?
No, they don't know. They have to check all the pictures because they were like, we might need some more stuff from you, but they were like, everybody's on vacation, so today's Monday. So I'm assuming everybody's catching up
Yeah,
with their news stories or how they're gonna frame it, you know?
yeah, of course. Dude, that's like, what do you hope to like, what do you hope transpires from all of
Well, like more awareness for one. That's the point of the interview, not for oh now I'm gonna be on TV now, have a bigger impact, motivate people. I even asked if there's anybody who wants, Hispanic community wants to be on my channel, their doors are open,
Yeah,
or anybody that wants to have me, on their, either language, because I would use both languages, translate what I said, Spanish to English, because I'm like, there's a lot of bilingual people that speak both. I'm like, giving you guys both worlds, like you said. So I
yeah.
mean, that's the goal, let's see how many other doors open.
Dude, that's really, really, really cool. Dude,
Then he,
congrats, dude. Like that's huge.
yeah, then he was like, oh no, wait, there's somebody who's, hosts our own show in Spanish, but like, I'm gonna ask her and see if she likes your story. Maybe they can have you feature on TV.
Yeah.
But he's like, I can't guarantee you that, but I once, 'cause, I'll just mention it.
Yeah. Whenever you find out, like if you do happen to be on TV, let me know so we can record that episode.
Yeah, because probably tomorrow, tomorrow or Wednesday, they should probably call at some point if they need
So,
something else. But they're like, no, for now we're good to go.
so is your interview in Spanish or is it in both?
No, it's in Spanish.
Spanish.
But they see their stories, the other ABC 30 or any of those see each other's story. He was like, no, they see each other's stories.
Yeah.
I mean, if they like your story, if somebody tells me, oh, we have somebody here who speaks both, let's bring him in.
Dude, that is really, really, really cool.
But they were like, I can't guarantee that happens. Some cases it has happened. And
That's really, really
we
cool.
try to work together, everybody.
Yeah. Wow. And then how when how did you hear about your episode was released for Fresno State? Because when you sent it to me, it was like what, like 2 days old, 3 days old?
I asked, that's why
Hmm.
I asked because I got busy doing other stuff.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool as well that you did a feature like that.
Yeah. All right, let's get started with the episode. I wanted to share that. And one more thing, I'm taking a new medication called Duset, something like that, which everything's going pretty well right now. It
And
has
what
a
did
lot of side.
for context, what does the medication do?
It's a gene therapy like yours, Spinraza, but this is from muscular every mutation.
Is this new or it's been out for a minute?
It's been a few months out.
Oh, so it's new.
So it's basically new, but they have another one. But the problem with the other medication is that somebody passed away taking the other medication.
I do remember you telling me that.
Then this one, obviously, this is the most safer one. The other one, they're like, they want to take off the market, but people are like, no, let's still give it to them.
Yeah. What
This one,
like how do you receive this medication? Is it like how is it?
well, the way I receive it, like, there's a pharmacy from Tennessee that calls me every few months to
Okay.
schedule a shipment. So they schedule it all the way over there. They put it in a special bag, special cooler, like I like to call it. They
Okay.
put ISO, because depending where you at, they put it. They shipped it, UPS or FedEx knocks on my door. Mama has to sign it because supposedly their medical wants you to sign it for them. I'm assuming they have stolen the packages, I guess, thinking there was something else.
Hmm.
So my mom just opens the door, signs it, they just leave it at the door. And
Wow.
obviously we open it, obviously put it in the freezer,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
fridge basically. That's what the instructions are, put it in the, and yeah, that's basically it.
Wow. Dude, that's like really, really cool. I do remember the last time we spoke, that you were talking about this new medication?
Yeah, I mean
I
the
think
side
the
of
last time we were actually the last time we talked, you just started it, right?
yeah, I wanted to
Yeah,
say for those that it has side effect, one of this abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. So far, none of it has happened.
that's good.
But I said in the first 4 weeks of my experience this since it's still early.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I'm fine right now. I can make you tired if I'm like, yeah, I've fallen tired the last a few days, but I'm like, no, I don't think it doesn't have to do with the medication because obviously I woke up early those days. So I'm
yeah,
just keeping an eye out with everything, you know.
hmm, of course. Yeah, dude, that's really really cool. You definitely got to keep me updated as well on
Yeah, I've been posting on
how it goes.
Instagram, you guys, giving you guys the journey, but I haven't posted lately because I've been one, I did the episode with the news. Then two, I actually I recorded a couple of videos for May, so that's what I was gonna do before Victor, you know, was like, let's record something. I was gonna, you know, schedule them out for May,
Hmm.
and yeah, so I'll get started what we were gonna do today. So we'll start off with the first question. I wanna have Victor answer this first. What keeps you going on days when you have no motivation?
That's a great question. So, okay, so two things. I have to answer this in two ways.
Okay.
Personally, personally, if say if I really don't have much to do on the computer that day, or if something has to get done, but it's not like a super super urgent need, like I could do it tomorrow, I will watch like one of my favorite YouTubers, which is like FaZe Rug. And I kind of like to find content or watch content that brings me that sense of energy to elevate my energy, elevate my spirits. Then eventually I'll get my spark back. Music as well is another great one. Even conversating as well actually helps a lot to help me develop that spark again. So whether it's conversating with you, a sister, cousins, things like that, just catching up, and it's more about like, hey, how are you doing? Kind of a conversation and getting to catch up with you, the individual I'm speaking to. So that's one way. The other way, professionally, is definitely showing up regardless of how I feel, because discipline is not always going to be there. So you have to show up on the days especially if stuff has to get done. You have to show up regardless of how you feel, regardless of what is going on, regardless of your circumstances. For example, when my aunt was in and out of the hospital and she wasn't doing too well, she would be in and out of the ICU. My grandmother would be in and out of the ICU. Of course, they became priority, where you drop everything and you show up and try to be there for in the best way that you possibly can for them, right? But professionally, I had other prior commitments where I had content I was content I needed to upload. At that time, I was writing a lot behind the scenes that nobody really knew about. So regardless of how I felt and regardless of the seasons that you navigate, you have to show up, because you have to show up and rely on your own abilities, because motivation is never going to be there. But discipline
Yes.
discipline is a choice.
Yes, for me, I'll say like I always try to show up, doesn't matter how I feel, you know. There's that. Sometimes I'll, you know, play my game for a bit, you know, online and stuff, which that gets my stress out going outside, especially during the nice weather, you know. You know, if I'm not feeling well, I'll go outside for to get some fresh air. Like keep myself busy while I listen to music, like you said,
Yeah,
or you know, just try to you know, find other people have to interview, you know, keeps me like busy, motivated. Basically, I'm like, who's next? Who can I bring to the channel? What ideas I have? So basically, mind strategy, I'll say it's always doing something.
yeah. Being productive too is something that I really, really um, I mean, it's kind of is relevant to your question. Being productive as well is kind of what will help you deliver your spark back as well.
What does discipline look like in your daily life?
showing up regardless of how you feel, especially on the days when you don't feel like doing it, but you know you need to do it. You got to get it done and do it regardless. There'll literally be nights and days where more so it's been lately, just because I'm sending out
Hmm.
like a crap ton of uh, DMs and emails to try to bring people on my podcast. And what I'll do is I would just show up regardless of how I feel. I literally, if something has to get done, like, okay, I only have like 2 weeks of guests lined up, but you know what? I need a third one just because of, you know, I'm still small, so I'm gonna get a lot of rejections and a lot of people to ignore me and ignore the message just because of the size of my platform and the audience, which is completely understandable. You gotta take those steps. So showing up regardless of how you feel. There literally will be nights where I will be up until like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, take a power nap for like an hour, and then I'm beginning my day. And vice versa. There'll be times where I'm waking up at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning, and
Okay.
I'm doing things behind the scenes.
For me, probably it's the same thing. Sometimes I don't sleep well, depending if I have multiple appointments throughout, the week. Sometimes like tired, but I still try to, create content, this and that, or how I feel. I try to deal with the pain, take my pain medication or anything,
Yeah.
depending on my day. But if I'm feeling fine, the discipline probably is like really scheduling my day out. Because sometimes, like, wait, I have to do this, I have to do that, you know, and being a content creator is not easy. Then, like I mentioned, when I have doctor appointments, like, moving things around, moving interviews around, or if
Yeah.
I have to call somewhere, I have to like really, know what time to do it,
Hmm.
because I have to record stuff too. So
And that's a good one.
balancing. Basically, my discipline looks like just I can say balancing. I think it's the right word. I try to
Yeah.
balance my medical stuff, my content, and basically have time for me. Do what I enjoy.
Right. Sometimes it's not so easy to balance your personal and professional life.
Yeah,
And something too, like you brought up, is a good one is staying organized. Is I made YouTube videos talking about this before on my YouTube channel, but for me, something that really does keep me disciplined as well is literally having a to-do list that I create the night before or the day before. So the next day when tomorrow approaches, I literally know what has to be taken care of. And everything is set in an order where it alleviates the mentality where I have to think about, okay, what's next or what is it that I have to do? Everything is no, everything is in order from priority to least priority. And so whatever is at the top of that list, that's what I need to focus on. That's what I need to get done.
yeah. Question three. I think I'll start first because I think you have answered this. How do you stay consistent when life gets hard? Like I said, I try to balance. I think when things get hard, try to balance. But I can add another thing, be patient.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to be patient. You try to be patient, but there's so many things on your plate sometimes. You have your disability, then medical stuff, then you have personal stuff sometimes. Then being a creator, and like Victor mentioned, like since I'm small as well, my channel is small, 32 subscribers, so it's small. So like he said, there'll be times guests will probably not want to be on my channel, but it takes a toll, like emailing like several people, but I know you can schedule the email when to send. I just figured that out, that you can schedule email. So that has made it a lot easier.
Yeah. For me, for me, I would say it would be faith is how I stay consistent.
That
Um,
too, that I can add that too. Yeah, that
yeah,
too. Like faith is your sometimes the only thing you have. Faith, because everything else fail, I feel like faith never fails.
right. It's so true. I'm a firm believer that faith can pull you through anything. Of
I
course, you got to put
mean,
in effort behind the scenes, right?
true, true.
And then
Yeah,
you got to
'cause
let
faith
God do
will.
what God does best. But
I mean, he'll do his best, but like I always say, like he helps you, but you have to help yourself as well.
yeah,
like the way I see it, when I got the interview, he put me in that spot, and I'm like, now it's like time to I do what I have to do, you know? Do like what's the goal, you know?
Right. No, it's so true. You know, faith definitely keeps me grounded if it keeps me
I
grounded
mean,
regardless of the season I navigate.
yeah, to be honest, it has gotten me out a lot of stuff. Personal, not just medical, but personal as well. So, I mean, when everything else fails, like I'll repeat it again. When everything else fails, faith is always there, even though it might take a while, but it'll come at the right moment.
Yeah, very true.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up the video?
You want to do a few more questions or you want to wrap it up?
No, like I always, like I said, I always try to keep it three questions, you know?
You want to keep it you want to keep it short?
Yeah, sure, you know, because I don't like to keep the audience like, oh, it's too much talk. You don't want to focus on three topics and then, finish
Yeah.
it off. But I mean, I mean, I really added other questions, talking about the medication, my
Yeah.
interview. So, so I would only put for you guys to know, my fellow viewers, it will always be three prompts, but I'll give you guys an update what I'm doing behind the scene or what projects, to implement the question we don't have. Like I said, I'm gonna be Univision. I'll give you guys maybe when we record the next episode. Maybe that's the day I got the call when it's gonna be live,
Yeah.
so I
I
can
would
share
for
with
to
you.
close out today's episode, I would promote your entrepreneur of impact.
Yes.
You gotta
So,
promote it.
for,
Promote.
yeah, I forgot that.
What
Thanks
people
for
don't know, they can't do, right?
true, true, true.
Yeah, you gotta
All
promote.
right, you guys. So I'm competing for the Entrepreneur of Impact competition. For
Yeah,
those that don't know, I made it to the second round. I'll call it second round.
yeah,
This time, instead of being top 20, I had to make it to the top 15. So you guys can keep voting daily. And
yeah,
also, you guys can donate something to a nonprofit organization for unprivileged kids. Like ours, you have the free vote every 24 hours. You can donate $10 for 10 votes, 25 votes for $25, 50 votes for $50,
Can you
100
share your
votes,
screen
100.
or no?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, share your
Yeah, I
screen.
didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
You got to come in with the mentality that these people have no idea what it is you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, but
there we go.
this is my profile. Currently, I'm nine. So
Yeah,
if the competition ended today, I would have make it to the next round. But we still have a lot of days left. Like you guys can see, voting for the top 15 ends Thursday, the 9th of April at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So this week, so we have, yeah, like I said, 3 days with 0 hours, 36 minutes, and seconds. Obviously, they're ticking.
yeah.
And this is what you guys might have my Instagram,
So you have three
YouTube.
days to vote, and so that's three extra votes.
Yeah.
Or if you guys can donate because it's going to an amazing
This is what I
organization.
meant. The free vault 24 hours. This one you guys 10, like you guys can see 10, 25, 50, 100, 250. And this is my pictures I use. And yeah, guys, hope you guys can vote. Uh the link will be in the description. And also you guys can find me on Instagram at Muscular Dystrophy Warrior, which that's where, you will guys find the link in my bio.
Yeah,
So that's it, you guys. So thank you for watching. Has been Unfiltered with Alfonso Reyes, aka Muscular Dystrophy Warrior or MD Warrior, and my
Vic,
co-host.
yeah, and his co-host Victor Guerra, aka Victor the Inspiration.
And thank you again, guys, for watching. Until next time.